I reckon if you're about here, and we'll just, yeah, that's cool. Go a little bit this way. Yeah, that's good. I'm just going to take a look to see. My name's Derek Henderson, and this is our workshop on how I photograph Jacinta Arden, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, for American Vogue. I photographed the Prime Minister at Bethel's Beach, just out of Auckland on the west coast. Yeah, cool. Okay. So, Chad, do you want to, not Chad, yeah, Chad, do you have a little mark you could put down there? Yeah? And the reason for that is it's a very beautiful beach. It's accessible. You have to think about those things. You know, obviously, if you were trying to get a Prime Minister on location, you don't want to make it too difficult to get there. And so often, I went out the day before or a few days before and did a location recce, and that's basically working out where I wanted to do maybe 4 or 5 pictures of the Prime Minister in the time we had, which was pretty much 2 hours. We'll set the light up here. I'll give you a hand. Probably they would have been quite happy to just have the photo taken of her in her office in the city in Auckland, but you always want to get them out of there and get them somewhere that's a bit more dramatic or more interesting. So I had that opportunity, and they went for it, so that was a good thing. I shot everything, most of it as a horizontal format, thinking that they were going to use it as a DPS, a double page spread in the magazine. But, it's just allowing for things, so they can crop a little bit, or where they want to put words. You're always kind of thinking about that as well. And if it's a double page, obviously you don't want to put her in the middle of the picture because then she's in the gutter. So this is the camera I used on the day to take Jacinta's photograph. It's a Nikon D850, a really good workhorse camera. And the lens that I used was the 70 to 200 zoom, which I'm just putting on now. Haven't looked at that picture for a while. But I can see I've placed this line of clouds leading into her eyes. So that, I think, naturally leads your eye along the clouds into the face. And the face is the bit that people you want to draw attention to. And I can see she's kind of 2/3 into the image. It's a classic combination. It's divided into thirds. There's the third of the ocean, then you've got, you've got the line of the horizon, and then you've got the landscape taking up another third, and then the clouds take up another third, and then she's in the frame a third of the way in from the right-hand side. It's a classic composition or form. She looks beautiful, but she also looks like a very intelligent, strong woman. And so for me, that's successful. Because to be honest, I am trying to take a flattering picture. It's my natural instinct to want to make them look good, Okay, so this is the Octa light that I used, and this is a softbox RFI 5-foot Profoto Octa, and that was the softbox that I used to light the Jacinta picture. So Chad's just going to put that on what do you call these, Chad?
I don't know.
Don't know either. That goes on to that, and then we put it up on the boom, we put the weight on the end, then we put the pack on, the power pack, and that's the light source. So Chad's just making up the Octa softbox now. I'll grab the head. So this is the Profoto head that fits onto the Octa. This is a flash head, and as you can see, Chad's got the power pack there, and we'll go through and tell you what that pack is and exactly what this head is. This is the Pro Photo flash head that goes in the Octa into the softbox. This is a reflector that comes with it. This is how it travels. It has a plastic cap on the front to protect the flash unit in here, which is very delicate, so you've got to be very careful with it. You unlock that. Thanks, Chad. Then this just goes in there and you lock it in like so. That's spreading the light more there because it's going in and spreading inside the Octa. That's more on the spot end. I tend to go right into there so it uses the full dimensions of the Octa. And then this head goes on the top of the boom. So Chad's putting on the counterbalance, the weight for the boom, which is very important to balance that weight right when you're putting the head on. And then the head just simply fits on there like so. Tighten it up. That goes around there. Then what we do is we do a balance kind of test. We loosen this up and then let it go, Chad, and I'll just balance it up. And you just kind of want to get it so that feels about right to me. That way it's not going to topple over in the wind, we hope. Get it to kind of where I think it's going to probably roughly be. And then we tighten that off. Make sure those are tightened off. And then we can just work out exactly the angle that we're going to turn that. And we can do that by doing it in here. So I'm going to spin the boom. Make sure that's locked off. I'll just have a look. Yeah, that's good. You could even just bring it down a bit.
The whole thing?
No, just tilt it down on that one. Yeah. I like the light to come from slightly from over my shoulder, not directly in front of me, because I feel that it gives a bit of molding to the shot. And I also often have the talent facing away from the light. Like that's something, if the light's here, I get them facing that way, not directly into the light, because what happens is you get a shadow around the slightly side of their face. So because the medium of photography, just by its nature, it's two-dimensional and it's flat. So what you're trying to do is actually give it a bit of depth using light and shadow. So a little bit of shadow on a face, I believe, in a portrait really can help. Yeah, good. That's good. So that light is now set up the same way I had it set up before at the beach to do the shot, the portrait of Jacinta. Just aim it a little bit that way for me, the whole thing, just turn it. That's it. That's cool. And just make sure it's secure. Okay, so now we've got the head and the Octa on the boom at the right angle when the talent is in there. So now we hook this head up. We also have an extension cord because sometimes the boom can go up quite high and the cord doesn't reach the power pack, but we're not going to need that today. The plug, in it goes, you twist it in so it's locked. Then that powers up the pack. Oops, I don't think we've got batteries in there, so I'm going to take that out. We're going to pull this out and have a look. And I think, yes, we haven't got a battery in there. So what we need to do is grab a battery. So can you grab a battery for us, Chad? They should be in where the head came, I think. Here's one of the batteries. You kind of want about, when you go on location, it's good to have 2 or 3 of these things so you don't run out of power. It's pretty simple. It just pops in there like that. Just click it in. Check to see that it's getting power. No. Oh no. Yep, we've got full power. I turn it off. Then we plug the head back in. We're going to put it into socket A. Pop that in there like that. This is a battery pack. This is a Photo B4. It's a very powerful pack. I think it's about 1500 watts of flash power. So it's really good to have on location. Doesn't weigh too much, but we could get probably 200 flashes out of that at f11 to match the daylight. So it's a very good pack for on location. This is the on and off button. Switch that on. We've got a little light here telling us the battery's full. You can adjust how much power goes through the head. It goes right up to 10, and then it goes all the way down to 1. I reckon we'll probably have to be on about 7.5 to test it. You fire this button here. You can hear that little beep. That's the flash going off. Yep, everything's working. I'm going to turn it off for now to save the battery, but that's the power pack. So to sync the camera to the flash unit, the ProPhoto, we have a trigger, a ProPhoto trigger, and it just fits on the top of the camera like so. You turn it on, it's on channel 1, same as the channel on the flash pack. So now the flash is synced between the trigger and the pack, and it's working. You can test it by firing the camera, and you can also test it with this button, and we can hear it flashing. So when you're not using the boom, it's best to lower it, because in the wind it can blow it over, and that can be very dangerous and expensive. So it's better to lower this thing when you're not using it. Bring it down as close as you can to the ground. You know where it's going to be, but for safety reasons it's better to kind of leave it like that while you're not using it. Okay, so now we've got the boom with the head and the pack set up. Bring that in, Chad. This is the sun bounce, the Californian sun bounce that we use. Chad's going to make it up for us. And this is a screen that goes over the top of the talent to stop the sunlight, the direct light hitting her, because that's what the light's for. The flash is to fill in her, and I don't want the sunlight hitting her for the picture. Do you want to make it over there? So it's about balancing that light. So you do an exposure without the light on to get the exposure of the environment, the background in the picture. You get that where you want it, so it's perfectly exposed. Then the sitter goes into the shot. You take a picture, and because you've put a black over the top, that's a Californian sun bounce, and my assistant's holding it on a pole, basically a single pole over the top of the talent, so that way the direct sunlight isn't hitting the talent, because that picture was taken at 11:30 in the morning in November, and the light's incredibly high, and it's not very flattering to do portraits. So you black that out by having this 6x4 piece of black over the top of them to stop the daylight, and then the light that you're using lights them, and then you balance that light to the background, so the flash goes off and balances it. And using flash outdoors on location is a lot easier than using a consistent light like an HMI, because you'd probably have to be using about a 20K HMI. So these flashes put out a lot of power. That's good. Take it up again. Down a bit. As the photographer, you're driving the bus. There's a whole team of you there to get this picture, but they look to you for direction. Shush. There's a tide coming in. Hope it doesn't come in. We better not fuck around too much. Jeanette, can I get you to go in there and I'm going to have a look? Lola, come round here, sweetheart. You're going to be holding this. Okay. Just if a wind comes along or something, you just hold that. Okay. That's your job, yeah? You're doing good there, Chad. Controlling that beast. Okay, now you're in the shade, so we can see the talents in the shade. Just come this way a tiny bit for me. There we go. So you can see that Jeanette is in the shade now. Just go a little bit this way for me. And I'm just going to take a shot to see how the balance of the light, the flash is balancing the daylight. So you can see that Chad is blocking the light with the reflector. So that's without using the flat to stop the light hitting Jeanette. As you can see, it's very strong on her face and hard for her to look at the camera. But when Chad brings the flat down, it blocks the light off and the flash will fill Jeanette's face and we can get a much better photo. That's cool, beautiful, yeah. So you can see the flash is firing. We're getting the fill light. That's good. When I think I've got something that I think they're gonna, that I think is a nice picture and they're gonna like, I often run in and go, here, have a look. How do you feel? Get their reaction, find out what they're thinking.
You're like my favorite photographer ever.
Oh, you're just saying that.
No, I swear.
That's cool. That's nice.
I like that.
That's beautiful too.
That one's really beautiful.
Yeah, the light's nice on your face.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, that's cool. That looks beautiful.
I love that one.
When you get someone in front of the camera at first, sometimes, it's a bit awkward for the sitter, just because it is, like having your picture taken, it's quite an intrusive thing. So, often you just got to warm up, and I always think, I think a good thing is to think, I'm just looking for one great image from this one setup. So don't be afraid to take some pictures. Keep taking photos, because also by doing that, it feels like there's a rhythm. And once you get this rhythm going, they start to get into your rhythm of, they're hearing the camera go, and especially in this situation, because we're outside on location. But the sitter, the Prime Minister, she can see when the camera's firing because the flash is going, the flash that I'm using to light her in the environment. So once they get used to that, there is a rhythm to it. So they know he's going to take one now, he's going to take one now. And I encourage them to not just stand in one, move around a little bit. And when I see where they're in a position that the composition looks good, or the form of their body or whatever it is, the shape looks great, I'm like, oh no, stay there, that looks good, move your head a little bit this way, shoulders out, blah, blah, blah. I'm refining the thing the whole time, like looking for this one image. But at the same time, I just keep taking the photo because I do think that makes people feel comfortable. Beautiful. Very nice. And so you can hear the flash going. And then, Jeanette, turn a little bit that way for me, not too much. Yeah. And then just look back at me here. All right. Turn your body this way a little bit. That's it. Beautiful. And head straight on. Like, yeah, that's it. That's good. Perfect. And then keep looking at me. That's it. That's it. Just bring your shoulders around a little. Not too much. That's all right. That's good. Beautiful there. Fantastic. Beautiful. And then what about if you can you put your hands in your pockets? A little bit, that's it. A little bit that way, that's it. Yeah, and just bring your shoulders round a little. That's beautiful. Hands tell a story, like if the hands are tense, sometimes that can look really good because you get a tense portrait and that's fantastic. But with this picture, that's not what I was going for. Then back to me, that's good. I like your arms like that, stay like that, and then look at me like that. That's it, that's perfect, like that. Chin up a fraction, down a little. Yeah, that's good. Beautiful, relax. That one was nice. I'm genuinely excited about taking a portrait of someone. It doesn't matter who they are, and I'm trying to get the best picture I possibly can, so I think a big part of that is engaging the sitter, communicating with the sitter like you communicate, hopefully, in your life, every day. I think that's important. Big part of being a photographer.
Yeah.
That's cool.
100%. I love.
Oops. There we go. It was that one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a conversation between me and the sitter. And I mean that like not just talking to them, but, you know, getting their attention, making sure they're with you in that space right then. And that can be challenging with people, you know, like, you know, photographing prime ministers, because they're the prime minister. Like the last thing they're probably thinking about is getting their portrait taken, to be honest. I mean, they're running a country. They've got a lot of things on their mind, right? So to get their attention, that's a skill, I think. And I think in portraiture, that's really important. You've got to have them with you, you know, otherwise. And it's very easy for them to sort of just doze off. So, you know, it's about kind of keeping that conversation going and doing it quickly. Like, I don't like to drag it out. I don't want to bore them to death, you know? It's like that picture I took, it was a setup. And once the Prime Minister was in front of the camera, it was, I would say, 5-10 minutes. And that's as long as I kind of like to draw it out, because people get bored. They do, they get bored. You know, they're kind of like, you know, I feel like I'm starting to torture them. So you know, but there's a lot of prep that's gone into that picture. You know, I've done my homework. I know exactly where I'm going to shoot it. You know, I knew the headland was going to fall off to the you know, the left-hand side of the page, so you could see a bit of the ocean, you could see the sand, but then you could see these rolling hills and cliffs and the green of New Zealand and the blue of the sky and all of this stuff. So I'd work that out, you know, and I work that out with my assistants. I'll put them in the shot and go, oh yeah, that's working, that's not working, shift the camera a little bit this way. So by the time that the Prime Minister's in the picture, you know, kind of half of it's already done. And then, you know, you've got the stylist and the hair and makeup, and they're on set as well, and they're working with you for that image as well. And, you know, the hairdresser, Alan, did a wonderful job, because he, you know, the wind was blowing, and in the actual picture you can see the hair sort of blowing, and, you know, sometimes it would blow across her face, you know. So Alan White, who's a fantastic hairdresser, he's with you, like right next to you at the camera, and he'll run in and he'll try and flick it out the way, or sometimes it just gets pushed around the front and he'll push it back, you know what I mean? So it's a timing thing, you know, we're all concentrating around that camera to produce this amazing image. And it's the same with the stylist, you know, the coat can fly the perfect way, you know, once, you know, but often it's not, but you still keep taking that picture. You just never know. So it's very fast and it's very intense around the camera, but that's also great, you know, because you're concentrating, and I believe the sitters go, it's all on. I can see that these people are like here to do a great job. They're doing their bit, I'm going to do my bit. So, you know, that's the experience, really. Should we go and get lunch? You ready? Let's go. Come on. Quick, let's go. Come on. Quick. I'll have to give them something now, Matt. Doesn't take long. Come on.